Hey, I'm Brad Chmielewski, and welcome to Shatter the Vain. Man, all right. So I think we're slowing down on the episodes here. We're going back to the once a week until 1.15 drops, or I line up some other great interviews with you. But that's everything that I've had pre-recorded, everything that I had planned right now. My to-do list of interviews is empty right now, and probably will be filled up again soon as I get some new people and some other thoughts written down. So hopefully you enjoyed the Team Secret interview, the MyQ interview, the GankStars episode. All those, a lot of fun to do. The Vertigo eSports one before that. So it's just been a ton of episodes. Oh, and Rome, I can't forget about Rome. Thanks for joining me and talking about your rise into the super evil megacorp corporation. That was a lot of fun. So on this episode, I have phoenyx. He recently started the new the Main Vein podcast. They are 6 episodes in right now. Yeah, he's been kicking that off. It's been sounding great. It's on iTunes now, so you can sub. I got a link in the show notes. Check him out. Doing a lot of fun stuff. I'm definitely a big fan of the game, so it's very cool to hear what he's doing and another voice in the Vainglory podcast community. Because, Heroes of the Storm, man, they got like a 5-6 podcast. Come on, we need more Vainglory podcasts. I want to hear more people's experience about the game. It's great. And then I want to mention the Patreon again over at patreon.com/Shatter the Vain. Over there, if we get enough, if anyone can donate, we'll start doing 2 episodes guaranteed every week. Otherwise, I want to thank everyone for listening and supporting the show. It's always fun to see it grow and get tweets, people listening and finding the show. I love seeing those, so be sure to leave reviews on iTunes. It helps more people find it, get in touch with the show. And then on this episode, so we got phoenyx, then we got news about the Taka Skin, we got VGL, and then we're going to talk about draft mode and what it means like being a casual player versus a competitive player, and where that line is, and if you don't have enough time to rank, maybe you shouldn't, and how it affects your, mentality, seeing that skill tier not where you think it should be. So let's do it. Let's jump into this episode. This is the 82nd episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. And on most episodes, I'm bringing on someone from the community, someone else that's doing streaming, YouTube videos, podcasting, and just like this community is so great. So I love to showcase all these people doing this fun stuff in here. And this week I have phoenyx from the Main Vein podcast joining me. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, please introduce yourself. You recently started this podcast. You're 5 episodes probably once this goes up.
Yeah.
In there. But yeah, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm phoenyx. I am, as Brad said, the host of the Main Vein podcast. I'm currently obviously in the Main Vein guild, and yeah,
Cool.
that's about it.
So what got you into Vainglory? You were playing Clash of Clans
I
early on,
was,
right?
like most of the, I guess I can say founding members of TMV, but most of the earlier members of TMV, I was a member of One Hive,
Okay.
and so I was playing Clash. I kind of, well, really, Vainglory killed my One Hive career. Actually, I was pretty involved in One Hive, doing wars and everything. And then I saw a couple videos on YouTube about Vainglory, and I'd seen some of Hulk's videos, and it's like, well, I keep seeing all this Celeste stuff pop up everywhere, and saw some power bang videos, and said, I was like, well, I'll check that out. And so I played it, and I was putting in a couple hours a day at work. Don't tell my boss. And so I started playing that, and I started finding that wars were like, they were kind of getting in the way of my Vainglory time. And so
Okay.
I said, I just don't have time to put into both these, and right now I'm just having more fun with Vainglory. So I stepped out and went back to my old clan and just hopped on over to Vainglory. Pretty much 90% time now. I still play a little bit of Clash, but most of it's Vainglory now.
Okay. How long were you playing Clash beforehand? Were you pretty deep into it?
Um, that's a good question. I started July of 2013,
Okay.
14, 2014. It's 2016 now. So July 2014. So I guess at that time I was about a year and man, a year and 2 or 3 months into it when I picked it up.
Okay.
So I picked it up just after I think 1.09 started. Whenever Finn came out, like
Oh.
Finn had just come out and everyone was, clawing over Finn, and
Mm-hmm.
so now I was like, well, I don't know who this Finn guy is, but everyone's excited about him.
Oh, okay, man. Just 1.9. Yeah, that's pretty new. It's always neat to see when people join in, and it's nice that we have the patch numbers and the characters to go
Yeah.
along with it. Like I joined when this character popped up. It's like, all right, cool.
As like someone asked me the other day, they're like, I said, yeah, like when is Super Eva going to put out a patch that doesn't have OP new heroes? And I was like, when did you start?
Yeah.
'Cause it's only the past like one or two that they've really been OP. I was like, I remember Finn came out and they're like, oh, I mean, it's cool. And when Blackfeather came out, he was a potato.
Right. And
But
Ozo's kind of hit or miss, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. Like, so you must have come in pretty much when they put out
Kestrel,
Kestrel.
yeah. You got to
I was
put
like,
it.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you got to put out strong heroes so everyone picks them up right away. They gotta,
Exactly.
you gotta
Gotta get
be
that ice.
super excited about them. What role do you usually play when you're jumping into the game? Like, what's your go-to
I play
position?
a lot of support and jungle. Not really much of a laner. I can fill in lane and do my thing. I hit about maybe 60% of the CS that comes at me.
Okay.
It's better with a weapon powered laner, but yeah, I mostly do jungle. I'm a big fan of Cruel.
Oh, okay.
And Cruel, actually Koshka's Bay. Koshka is what I started on, and I do a lot of Catherine and Arden. Haven't really picked up much of Finn. I just bought him, so I mean I haven't really gotten to
Okay.
play him much,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, I like playing Kashka too. She's just super fun right now, especially in this patch too. She's
yeah,
just
she's pretty
wrecking
strong
people.
right now.
Just be able to pounce in there and just do all that damage. It's great.
Definitely.
And I know you mentioned this on episode one of the main vein, like why you started this podcast, but I'd love to hear the story again, and for people that
Sure.
haven't checked it out or just learning about the podcast now for the first time. And I know sometimes with these podcasts, like going back and listening, it's old news because a lot of time it's
Yeah.
like, oh, the patch changed and things like that. So, but yeah, why'd you start the Vainglory podcast?
Basically, it goes even further back to the Clash. I was in some of the podcast clans. I was in, I had been in LexCorp for a while, and they had a podcast, and I was in Kent. I'm now in the Clash Files family, so I've been around podcasts, and so I'd wanted to do a podcast for a while, and I always thought it'd be a lot of fun. And you put a microphone in front of me, and I'll talk for 3 hours.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I liked, I talked about Clash all the time with friends that played, and but I didn't have that with Vainglory. I didn't really have any friends around that played Vainglory, so I was like,
Okay.
well, I want to talk about this thing some more. And so, I talked some with people at night, and I was like, well, I'm on Discord every night chatting about this and chatting about heroes and updates and all this stuff. I said, well, shoot, I may as well just record this thing. And so,
Yeah.
I was like, well, and then I was like, well, I don't know, no one's going to want to hear what I say. And, I was like, well, and I was like, well, I don't even know how to podcast. I don't know how to host or anything. And then, I was talking to some of the guys, and they were like, well, I mean, can't be that bad. Why don't you just give it a whirl? It's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think I will. And so I talked to some of them. I was like, I think I'm going to start this thing up. And, I asked a few of the people I play with most often, because especially starting out, it's easy if you're, the people that are your guests, your first couple of guests are people that you're more comfortable with.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like this. So,
So what do you do? Yeah, it's very awkward when you don't know the people too well.
like a first date, the thing going awry. So, but yeah, I started, clicked record and said, hey, let's throw this thing down. And it was the time we had just, my team had just done the VGL amateurs. So I said, hey, we got at least a week or two talking about VGL amateurs, and see how we do there. If we do really well, we can go in further. And I can bring a few of the people that play a lot more than I do, and they can also talk for hours. And we have some pretty opinionated people in our guild.
Okay.
So other people that like to just they can talk your ear off about it. So I was like, well, there's no shortage of content as often as Super Evil puts out new heroes, patches and everything. I was like, there shouldn't be too much of a shortage of content. And I was like, hey, why not?
Uh-huh. So it's a every week show, right? That's kind of the goal
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Okay,
once a week. Yeah,
that's cool. And then I
ish. I
it,
mean,
it
I started it, and that was part of the reason I hadn't started before. Is at the time when I started, my wife was I think 8 months pregnant then, and so I was like, well, I may have a little less time, and I'm fine. Yeah, I got a little less time. Um, so I think the fourth episode I did with Big Jake, that one I recorded it, and I finished recording it about 3 hours before my wife went into labor.
oh wow, okay.
It was a little late. I mean, we had no idea she was going right then, and so I finished, went to bed, and I get woken up a couple hours later. She's like, "I think I'm going into labor."
Oh
I'm like,
no.
oh, shoot! And I was like, "Well, I guess this track's gonna be a little late getting out then."
Right, a little more important things, yeah. I feel like I find that people who are super busy, they add other projects to themselves. So it's like you're like,
Yeah,
oh, I'll just find
true,
time. I got this new baby, and let's start a podcast.
true.
That's cool. And then I know you mentioned like Chuck from the Fold kind of inspired you a little bit to like just
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
happen.
exactly. I mean, I'd listened to this show and I'd listened to his show pretty much since I guess pretty much since I started. Really, it was, and I guess that was. I think I started listening back through July. I think it was right before the NA launch,
Okay.
or not NA launch. Right before the Android launch is when I started listening.
Okay.
And so I'd listen basically your show and his show and going through there. And I love both shows. And then eventually, yeah, he somewhere on there, I guess a couple months ago, he'd said, he has a blast doing it every week. And
Yeah.
he says, there's really, if you want to do it, just go do it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I need to go do that thing, man. I was like, so that's pretty much the thing that spurred me to get going, really, and to get me to just click record and start figuring out how to do this thing.
And so I have any goals with the podcast, or just kind of just do it and
Um,
see what happens now.
yeah, basically just kind of see where it goes. Still trying to find what I guess my niche or like what kind of find exactly like that feel of the podcast. If I want to do like a lot of interviews, if I want to do, I'm trying to still figure out if I want to have a co-host or if I want to fly solo, or if I want to have like a semi co-host, like every other show I have the same person on, or that sort of thing. So still trying to figure that out. So it's just a work in progress. I don't have a set like I want to have this, but I want it to grow,
Okay.
obviously. So I'd like it to. I'd like it to take off and be a name on par with this show or with the Fold. Something that people say, hey, do you listen to Main Vein podcast and or maybe TMV podcast. My wife's still a little I guess embarrassed about
The,
yeah, about the name. They were like, oh, "What's this podcast he's doing?" She's like, "It's the Main Vein podcast." Like, oh, she's like, "It's VAIN though." They're like, "Yeah, okay."
okay.
I was like, "Yeah, I know that."
That's cool. Yeah, I
I was like,
would
"I
say
didn't know the
like
name."
a solo show is tough. Like I tried doing that like when I first started, and talking to yourself, it's rough. And then you also find that the editing takes longer because you start to be like, oh, I should maybe cut out that breath or that little
Yeah.
pause
Oh man,
there.
the first one was rough.
And so then once you add other people in and other co-hosts, you just kind of let it flow. It's just a conversation, and that's I think a
Yeah.
much easier on yourself, and then it just gets
Yeah.
out there quicker too.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. First one, I was cutting down. Like if I asked a question and then, I'd say, what do you think about such and such? And there'd be that like a 3 second pause where they're really just going,
Yeah,
hmm.
give it a little
But it's like this
thought.
pause, and I'm like, well, let me cut that out, and so I cut that out, and it turned into like a Gilmore Girls episode where there's like firing back and forth.
You're the only person that ever notices that for the most part.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh I'm sure. I listen back, and I'm like, this is terrible. No one's gonna listen to this, and then I throw it up in chat, and they're like, hey, that was great. I want to hear more of it. I'm like, all right, thanks.
And then do you listen to a lot of other podcasts? You said, this show, The Fold. You like a podcast listener? Like I
Oh
go to
yeah,
drive to
yeah.
work and
I listen not as much anymore because now with the work I do, I'm not. I got to focus a little more on it. Used to be the job I had before was, I mean, it was still a computer job, but I could do it in my sleep. So I actually don't tell that boss this, but I mean, I used to watch Netflix while doing it too.
Okay.
So, but I've cut down a little bit on my podcasts. I was doing about like 12 or 13.
Wow, a week? Like,
Yeah, a week,
wow, okay.
and some of them were daily. So I had probably I think maybe two of them were daily. I
Okay.
think.
That's a
Um,
lot of shows because most podcasts are, I guess, half hour to an hour. So you're like, it's
yeah,
basically a TV show at that point.
yeah, yeah. But I would get some on the way to work, and actually at that time I was listening to books on tape on the way to work, so I'd have that on top of it.
Man.
I'm probably going to go deaf, and by the time I'm 40, but and it'll be a good run.
Headphones always in, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Awesome, man. Yeah, everyone should go check out your show. It recently went up on iTunes, right? You got that link all set up now, right?
Yes, iTunes is up and running, and I think Stitcher's in the works.
Okay.
I don't. I sent an application to them, and they said we'll get back to you in 5 days. And iTunes said that, and it took 23 minutes. And
Yeah.
Stitcher said that, and we're going on 4 days now, so we'll see.
Yeah, Stitcher's a weird site. I don't know. They
Yeah,
do their own thing there, and I don't know how to
yeah. Which and the
fix it.
recent I guess went down for a while, so I don't even know if they're. I guess they're back up and running now.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Well, that's great. Should we jump into this Vainglory news that's happening? I know we got some news to go
Sure.
over, some forum static, and even an email. So let's dive into this. So the first thing in the news, the dev stream is back in full force. I feel like we had a little bit of a lull there where they're just playing games, hyping up VGL, not getting any teases, not getting any reveals. I miss that, but we finally got I guess the splash art revealed for this new Taka skin. Did you get a chance to check this out?
I did. I'm not a big Taka
Okay.
player. I've played. Actually, the only time I think I played Taka is I played him once in practice, and then I played him twice in. It was a mini game we played in our team. It
Oh,
was called like
the
Capture the Fox or
the
something,
fox hunt.
or Fox in a Box. I don't remember,
Hmm.
but yeah, Fox Hunt. That's the one. Yeah, I played Taka there, and I mean it was like a 3 minute game because I'm absolutely terrible. I'd box and be like, why am I standing in my box any longer than that?
Yeah.
And so it just didn't really go well.
Yeah, I started playing a little bit of Taka, but I hate Taka. I love to kill Takas. Like whenever I'll go out of my way to kill the Taka. That's but this skin, oh, it looks awesome. Like the splash art for it. Uh, we got a reveal. It looks like
It
a
does. It
limited.
does.
So they said it's a limited edition skin. At first, I thought it was the tier 3 Taka skin. I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty epic for the tier 3, and then they're like, nope, it's a limited edition. This is I think a unique thing because every other limited edition skin has been tied to a holiday or an event. I don't know of any holiday that's happening in the next month besides what St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and
Yeah. I don't know anything major. Of course, I didn't really know the Lunar New Year was coming or the Chinese New Year, whatever it was.
okay,
I didn't know that was coming either. So who knows? We may be having something that's coming up in March,
right, and they could always
but nothing apocalyptic or whatever.
no, they could always introduce something like of their own uh,
That's
event
true.
too. Like it could be a super evil focused. Like this is our game event. Like every year, look for I don't know, sci-fi month or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to see the skin. They did say it's coming in 1.15, which should be here. I would think in like 2 to 3 weeks now. So usually we get those updates at the beginning of the month, so it seems about time. And if we get it before the NA Live Championships or the EU and NA Championships, that seems about right.
Yeah. And I don't know what it's actually called, but I'm gonna lay dibs on this one first. Calling it Crouching Taka Hidden Kraken.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's my name for it.
I like that. All right, that's yours. Nice. To have to use that.
Hoping it sticks, kind of like when we went in Fuego, like when your guild could go in Fuego,
Right.
how that was just sort of popped out of nowhere and it stuck.
They like Super Evil loves to put that stuff like in there and shout outs to the community for coming up with stuff, and they're like, hey, yeah, this is just a nice nod to you guys. So who
Yeah,
knows, they might drop it in there.
maybe. Hope so.
Then on the dev stream, they also gave us a little bit of info about 1.15, saying they're looking at another build path for Cruel, so you might be interested in that, like a
Definitely.
CP kind of path. I don't play a lot of Cruel, so I was interested in hearing about this because uh, I feel like there is that point where Cruel gets kind of stagnant, where it's like, those are the items I build, and then go from there.
Right.
But
I'm actually finding that I can build a lot of different paths with Cool. So I mean, we
okay,
it was just breaking, the bruiser, breaking point, and all defense.
yeah,
But I've been playing a lot with different. You know, I guess I like to start with a Sorrow Blade
yeah.
now, pretty much no matter what. But going with, I've seen some of the VGLs with Tyrant's Monocle. I haven't gotten a chance to try that, but right now my favorite is a Sorrow Blade with a Blazing Salvo going into an Aftershock. And then I'll finish up with either. I guess what else comes out? Either Bone Saw, Breaking Point, or Tornado Trigger, depending on what they're building. That's one of my favorites right now with Cool. But
Okay.
I'm finding that, like, especially since I'm testing a little bit with CP. It's a different feel, but that'd be pretty cool if they could go like go the path of Kestrel, where like the whole kit really changes with
Hmm.
us.
And yeah, they like those kits where you do have the option to do or
Yeah,
can play both. Like even Ringo, like you see people go CP and people go weapon, and it works out for the most part.
yeah,
It's nice. And then they said something about Rona being they're going to make her better or stronger. that was
less potato.
that was really all they said about that I heard. So that was a nice stream with Nivman and Addy Andrus. So, yep, checked out, playing some good games. From their new set, I think they're still trying to figure that out, and it looks great. They got the headphones, look super professional, and not just the office with the backdrop. So, and then also in the news, we got a subreddit overhaul.
Yeah.
Do you spend much time on the subreddit?
I'll occasionally pop over there. I used to spend a lot of time on Reddit. Not just on Vainglory, but I used to spend a multiple hours on Reddit just reading, and I used to be much more well read.
Okay.
Back when I was in college and grad school, I'd spend 3, 4, 5, 6 hours on Reddit.
Now you're just well listened. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
now I'm well listened. I don't have as much time to read, and I'm 27 and my eyes are going. Um, so now I have to rely on the ears. But no, I've spent a little bit of time over there. It looks really nice. Anything with a black background, I'm a sucker for.
So this is really their first change. They did like the little Reddit, the snow icon contest, like back when Vainglory kind of first started, and those are the ones we've been seeing. And that was the only thing on the Reddit that really changed. So
Yeah,
this is cool. Like God's Eye is really doing a lot of stuff with the forums and the Reddit and the community. So he's really like running with that and doing a lot of fun stuff.
hmm
So check out the Reddit. I think my favorite part is when you post a new story or a new link, you get like an option to say like what kind is it. You get to put like a video, a news, a
yeah,
trailer, all this fun stuff that just kind of pops out. And if you're perusing the Reddit a little more, you can kind of see like, oh, I just want to see the videos. Let me switch to that real quick.
yeah. That's pretty neat.
And then also happening right now is the VGL. I talked about this on episode 81, just my predictions for the EU and NA brackets that are happening. So this is happening right now as recording. EU is happening the quarterfinals, and then we got the NA quarterfinals later this afternoon. So next week will be the semifinals and finals. It's the
I
end.
think
It's
so.
the
I think are they finished up the round of 16 right now?
Yeah. So
I guess.
16 was yesterday. So this is the
Yeah,
quarterfinals. So yeah, the VGL will be all over, I believe, at the end of next week. So
I think so.
have you been watching any of these?
Yeah, I watched some of the EU. I probably watched one of the EU just because I had people coming over that wanted to see the baby
Mhm.
during the NA one,
Okay.
and so I got to see some of the NA. I got to watch Halcyon Hammer's Velocity play. EU, I got to watch Team Secret. Pull out their some of their Adagio.
Yeah.
And,
Teams.
a lot of cruel.
Yeah.
Oof, a lot of
A
cruel.
lot of Cruel over there in the EU for sure. And then Team Secret, like they pulled out, they had to get the sub in, and they even brought
Yeah,
it with the sub. Like usually, I was kind of worried for them. I was like, they got the
yeah.
sub. This might not be good for them. But they showed like, hey, we're just great players and we know what to do.
whenever that first match, I was like, dang, yeah, they were wrecking everything, and then they came back on them. But that second game, they came back with a vengeance. I mean, it was just a slaughter.
Right. Yeah. And then today, Pedal's been getting played. Like I can't believe
Yeah.
it. Like I don't know if people are just like trying to pull out these like weird picks that you might not have played against, or if they're just like if they're giving up. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, either one. I know whenever I come against the pedal, it's. I mean, I know what to do with it, but
Okay.
I think that's one of the things that's making CP Fortress so popular right now. Is we're seeing Fortress as
The Rome
a
support.
roam, yeah, but now as a carry, it's you're not used to having to learn how to kill them with everyone else around. It's usually you kill all the other two, and then you gang up on the fortress. It doesn't really matter who it is.
Uh huh.
If you're 3v1 and except for a Vox, I guess, but 3v1, you're pretty much going to take them down pretty easily. But maybe that's the thought with Pedal is that we're going to pull Pedal out and people haven't seen him, and just the element of surprise.
Uh huh. Yeah, I think
Maybe,
that's what's happened. I think she's won one and lost one that I've seen. So it's
yeah,
not like a guaranteed win or anything like that. But I think it's just kind of a unique pick. It's kind of like seeing Fuji when he brings out Rhyme, or even when someone brings out Finn. You're like, whoa, hold on, you guys are trying that. Like, okay, we got to adjust how we play a little bit.
yeah, yeah,
That's cool. I think everyone should be watching these. I definitely watch the semifinals and the finals next week because those
yeah.
games are going to be awesome. They're the best teams in NA and EU battling it out.
Yeah, and maybe it's just I'm biased because I mean I do play in NA, but
Okay.
I feel the NA has been there's been some of the best matches in NA. I mean EU's had some good ones, but I've seen it was interesting. I heard a lot of when they were shoutcasting it. I heard a lot of times, oh, that could have been avoided with vision, or if he would have just had some flares, that that ace would have been easily avoided.
Hmm.
But and I haven't heard any of that in NA. It's just been, I mean, it's just been really top notch play.
Sure, yeah. Then how was your, I guess, amateur series run through this? How'd
Uh,
that go? How'd you like that experience?
it was a lot of fun. It was because we went into it knowing absolutely nothing, and especially me. If you listen to that first episode of mine, we'll plug there. I came in and I was a sub, and actually I played in the Kroger parking lot. That's how much of a
Okay.
sub I was, um, and so I didn't really know much what to expect, but we got in there, and I think the level of I'd say the skill tier that we were playing against was I'd say probably like high, mid tier five. At the time, it was mid tier five, maybe low tier six.
Okay.
And that was amateur. And we had some other people in our guild that we just didn't happen to play against that um, made it through, and they were tier seven and now tier eight and nine. So it was a lot of fun though. I really enjoyed it. So I hope next VGLs that come around, I guess the spring VGLs that come, I'll definitely be playing in that again.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I hope more people do that because it was a blast.
Mm.
Really good experience too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we saw anyone from the amateur series make it into the qualifiers there, but I think it's a fun way to introduce, like, hey, you have a chance to make it,
Right.
rather than just being like, oh,
Well,
GankStars gets in, Halcyon Hammers gets in, Nemesis gets in. It's like, oh, well, hey, you guys can show that you're legit players. Come in here because it happens so quickly in so many games. Why not?
yeah. Well, I know our guild had three teams make it through. Mine that I was on, we actually got first round. We got paired up against our other one of our other ones, TMV Elite,
Okay.
and we actually ended up forfeiting that match. We only had two people able to make it.
Oh, bummer.
That was I was going to be in that one, except my wife decided to go into labor. Selfish, uh, and so I didn't get to play in that. So we ended up forfeiting, and so Team V Elite made it in. And I think they actually applied to the second round, the second qualifiers, and they got accepted.
Okay, cool.
Even though they made it through amateur, I think they applied and got in.
Oh, okay.
And then they played Halcyon Hammer. They played Xenotech's team. I think that's Velocity,
Yeah,
and
it
they
didn't
got
didn't go so well.
I mean, they played really well, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, it is. And I've played against that team. They're good. And I mean, the other team we had, Trap House Legends. They're also very good.
Hmm.
And they played.
Oh,
I don't
they
know who they
they got
played.
fairly far. They made it through a
Yeah,
couple of rounds. Trap House Legends. Yeah.
yeah, they did. And then they got. We were talking to him in chat afterwards. And he said, "They're like, we just got slaughtered." They said it was. They were really good.
Uh huh.
That's why they're in there. But I mean, they did really well. It's just there's you're. I think they played against two Vainglorious and a POA.
Okay.
It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, if anyone out there in your skill tier, then you get matched with someone, or you team up with someone and you go two skill tiers up or something like that, it's a whole.
Hmm.
You're like, oh yeah, I can't play at that level. I shouldn't. I
Yeah,
now I know why I'm here and not there. That could make
yeah,
sense. So it's eye opening. A lot of people who think they should be somewhere where they're not. It's like go play a game against them and you'll see what they do, and you're like, oh, what? Why am I dying so quickly?
yeah. I mean, I had that when I just hit tier 5 for the first time, and I played with some of the guys in our guild. Just playing with them. They were in mid hotness, and I remember getting up there and I was like, "This is intense, guys." I was like, "They invade early and they don't stop," and they're like, "Yeah. Why don't you have flares?" And I'm like, "I don't use flares." I was like, "Why would I use flares?" And they're like, "Dude, you have to have flares if you're supporting."
Right.
I was like, "Oh, this is a whole different thing here." So since then, I started carrying flares, and man, it does
It
big
helps.
difference.
Yeah. Learn
And
the.
I was like, I said, "Man, they don't miss a skill shot." And they're like, "No, they don't miss a skill shot." I'm like, "Man, I'm gonna go back to tier 4 here real quick."
Start to realize that like the casual versus competitive side is very different, and I think we'll talk about
Yeah.
it here more in a little bit. But yeah, as you get up there, you're like, "Hey, maybe I just like playing for fun." And so that's awesome. Yeah, get ready more VGL stuff, and then the live the winter championships, not live finals. They are now called the winter championships. Tickets are on sale for those, so make sure you get tickets for EU and NA. I believe they're only like they 10 or $15. They're pretty cheap, so definitely grab them up if you can make it out there. Are you?
Yeah, I
You
can't.
can't. You got well. You got to do
Other side of
baby.
the
Yeah.
country.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be a little tough, especially with a newborn. But I know.
Bring the spring ones to Memphis. We can do Memphis in May here.
Oh, there
Get
you
some
go.
get some barbecue and live finals.
Oh, I like that idea. That sounds good.
I think it's a great idea.
Because yeah, the live
Come on,
champ,
playoff period.
the the winter championships this year, they're changing venues. It was at the eSports Arena in Santa Ana last time in winter. Oh wait, now I'm confused. Autumn. This is the winters, and so the winters are at the Red Bull Esports Studio. This is massive. Have you? I posted. I have a link in the show notes to a photo of this place. Like it is enormous. It's a theater. It's like multi levels. It's just. It looks like it's probably like 3 to 4 times bigger than the esports arena in Santa Ana. Like
Wow,
this is gonna be. It's gonna be a massive event this time in
that's
Santa
pretty cool.
Monica. Hopefully, I get a chance to go out there. Still trying to work some schedule things out, and yeah, I think we're going to see some great teams. We already know some of the teams that are guaranteed to go there, but yeah, these last couple of rounds guarantee your spot really if you're going to make it out there.
Yeah, that'd be cool if the company could throw a little bit your way and maybe help you because are you in West Coast?
I'm in Chicago, so I'm pretty far away from
Oh,
it.
okay. Oh, you're just above me then.
Yeah, not too far from you. So yeah, but yeah, I would love to make it out there. I know everyone had like a fantastic time at the autumn championships. So heard lots
Yeah,
of good stories, and when the community can come together so often, like if they're going to come together 4 times a year like this, it's like really I think makes it stronger. Like just your friendships, like inside and outside the game, just grow even more.
yeah.
Very cool. That does it all for the news. It seems late, but they're prepping for the for the winter championships. The
A
one
little busy.
1.15 will be coming soon, and all these like events in the news as well. They got the streamer event, they got the Valentine's event they did, so they're doing a lot more things like with the community and making sure if you're not just playing VGL, you can kind of win some ice and feel a part of it as well. But yeah, let's jump into some form static. So in the forums, I came across this post. A lot of people on the forums. There's a lot of like hate back and forth. Either like this is stupid or this is dumb and get rid of this. And there's been like a lot of back and forth about draft mode.
Yeah.
and just thoughts on it, and like if it's good, if it's bad, if it's ruining the game. Did you get a chance to try out draft mode when it was live
Um,
and then during the test day?
I did. I played. I played some. I got to play, man, maybe a handful of times with the team, and it went pretty well with the team. Right now, I tend to play more solo queue just because I don't have a ton of like long term time. Like I used to have 3 or 4 hours to play. Now I just have like a half an hour. But
Okay.
I played a lot of solo queue with it, and honestly it was almost worse than Instalock because it was with at least with Instalock I could get two people to Instalock and then I could go ahead and fill out the rest. Usually support because no one wants to play support.
Right.
But in this case, I would we'd come in, we'd get a crystal a crystal laner, and then I go weapon power jungle, and then we'd both do a thumbs up on like Arden or something, and he'd look down and he'd go select whatever character he wants,
Hmm.
and then he'd put jungle. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And so now we have no roam, and I don't know if then am I playing roam because I selected jungle? Is he playing roam because he selected, or is he playing jungle because he selected jungle, or am I? And then it's just I had that for 3 or 4 games, and man, I lost probably half a skill tier, which I mean where I'm at right now, I'm still battling my way out of the bottom
Okay.
because I got really far behind. Obviously real life took over a little bit.
Sure.
So,
Understandable.
but I lost a lot of elo that day.
Okay. Yeah,
A lot of,
they definitely need a thing after the game, a report like did not play the role or did not, I guess,
yeah,
work with the team, or what was the, I don't know what the correct way of saying it would be, but letting you know like he's just not following the rules of draft
yeah,
mode.
exactly.
This post in the forums kind of talked about like that similar experience, and almost like they are ruining the game for, I guess, focusing more on competitive plays. And if you are a casual player, or you want to play ranked because there is like something about the bragging rights there, but this kind of hurts anyone who's like, I want to just play the heroes that I like, and now they're banned out. Or in that case, like,
Yeah,
oh, everyone picked who I would play. I don't play Roam. How was I supposed to tell them, like, I can't play Roam? Maybe you're really bad at Roam and your last pick.
yeah,
There's no way to let someone know that.
yeah. That is true, and that is a drawback, I guess.
I
But in some respects, that might make, I mean, that might kind of separate the skill tier field, and that if say you can only play CP Sky and you were, power leveling with CP Sky, well, maybe you're not simply amazing. Maybe you're still working on it because you only play one game, one hero, or whatever.
True, yeah.
And I mean, I guess that may hurt um, ranked, but I mean, ranked is that it should be, ranked is very competitive. And if you're a one trick pony, maybe casual is a better place for you until you can play more heroes.
Right. I do think that the skill tiers kind of differ a lot on like how quickly someone insta-locks someone. As you move
Yeah,
up in the rank, you start to notice like, oh, no one insta-locks. Everyone's like trying to figure out a team even when draft doesn't happen. And when you start to drop down, someone's insta-locking and things like that happen.
a lot of AFK too.
All right.
That's where I'm so like I'll admit it. It's embarrassing, but I'm still stuck in tier 4 right now.
Okay.
I got a really slow jump off the gate when the new, like I said, obviously life was a little busy, so I was only able to get like a game every other day or so, and so I kind of got stuck in tier 4, and I think however the matchmaking worked, I think now I'm actually matching with people in tier 4, and it's like every other game is an AFK, either one or both sides. But
Okay.
and so I was like, told the people I played with, I said, man, I said last 10 games, I said I said last 10 games where it's actually been 3-on-3, I've won 9 out of 10 of them. But
Okay.
I said it's a shame that every other one is an AFK.
Which makes you have to play with your guild or your
Yeah.
team. You like need to go in there, and I think that's what makes draft mode better is when you do have that team that you're on Discord or Skype
Oh,
with,
definitely.
and you can kind of plan things out a little bit. But I think it does hurt the draft, and the rank system kind of hurts that one game a week kind of player. It's like I play for fun, like this hurts.
Yeah. Which and maybe casual will I mean, maybe casual will be better now. I mean, because you'll have a better pool of skill in there. Just
Hmm.
people that were ranking but are now not able to rank as much, and so maybe casual will get better.
Hmm. I usually always play ranked just because it's let's just put it all on the line. Like, who cares? I don't want to. I
Yeah,
maybe am learning this person. Sorry, guys, but like, I just we might win, and then all right.
yeah,
So I feel unless I'm playing with anyone on stream or anyone like then it's like all right, let's do casual since you can't hang at the same skill tier someone who just started the game versus like
yeah.
but yeah. So draft mode is I think it should be back soon. It might be back at 1.15. I know they got all the feedback from the draft day, and then I think they pulled it off because I don't think it's back for parties right now. I could be wrong there. Uh,
I don't think so. I haven't played a 3v3 match, and I don't think I've gotten a 3v3 yet.
okay.
Maybe I've gotten one or two. Um, but even if I've gone in with two other people that I'm in party with, I've gotten partnered up with three randoms.
Okay.
So I haven't.
Yes, I think it's out, which I think might be coming back in 1.15. I think they need to definitely make who's banning more clear. They need to let the. I don't think we need a thumbs down. We just need a thumbs up because the thumbs up and down is a little confusing. I think some people were saying, how do you know if you're thumbs upping that you don't want that person or to ban them versus thumbs up, pick that person or I want that. So it's a
Yeah,
little like we don't. Maybe it's just because we don't know the communication there yet. Like we all know the pings and what they mean in general,
yeah.
and
Except that question mark.
yeah,
No one knows what that
no
means.
one knows what the question mark means.
Although I have seen, if you go into game every so often, they have that little blurb at the bottom. It says, if you're in the lane and your enemy laner disappears, use the question mark to let your teammate know that he's disappeared. And I was like, I don't think many people use it for that.
Oh, I do it for that. That's when
Yeah, I mean, I do as
I.
well. Whenever I have to be in the lane, God forbid I have to be in the lane, I'll use it for that. But usually, it's used as a WTF.
Okay. What were you thinking? Oh my god.
Exactly.
Awesome. Check out this draft mode post on the forums. There are many posts similar to this about draft mode, but check this one out. Give it some thought. I think people go rip this guy apart a little bit, but I think he has a little bit of good points there if you get past that. And then the last thing before we get out of here is an email. So this email goes with, I think, what we were talking about. And this email kind of got lost. I was kind of trying to figure out how to respond to this person. This is from Bad Magic 36. And it just went so well with our forum static here today. I'll include the whole email in the show notes, but the gist of it is about the ranked system and the resets. Like you're saying, like if you get behind or get a slow start, it's hard to level up here. So he said he's never cared for ranked and has always preferred the relaxed and fun nature of casuals. Yet, since the reset, he's devoting every spare moment to rank matches to climb up. Add on the required guild activity, weekly games required to stay in the guild, and I feel like the game's becoming more work and stress than it's worth. He's enjoyed casuals, where he can play any hero he wants, any comp, any build, and it's fun and relaxed. Yet he feels like he's forced to play ranked matches until he gets to his previous rank, which is going to be reset here as soon as the winter season is over again. Whew, I understand his frustration here because it is. I think there is something disheartening when you maybe if you didn't play for a week or you're not someone that plays every day and you get in there and the patch hit or I mean the season ended and now I'm back to zero and I have to start all over again and this happens every 4 months. I see the problem here. I understand it and it does. I think it kind of says that maybe ranked is they are trying to push people that are just casual players, just can play a few games here and there. Like, don't worry about ranked. You don't have to play it. There are two game modes.
Yeah. Well, I see the part here where it says um, that his previous rank would, or that progression to the previous rank would be accelerated, and that he has not seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually can second that. I felt that way. I mean, I never saw the acceleration. I play with people, and they'd go up, an entire color, and I was like, oh, I went up a letter.
Yeah.
And now I don't know if that was that they were in hotness before, and I was in decentish. But even like when we were in tier two, people were jumping up. Every day they were a different tier, and I was like, well, I just need another letter,
Right.
or I didn't gain anything. So I know I think there was. I don't know if there was some. I don't. It wasn't very transparent as to how that whole thing worked. So maybe there was something that I just wasn't seeing with it, but I definitely feel his pain on that one.
Yeah, I don't think the acceleration, I don't think happened for myself either. I was playing ranked with a lot of different people when it first happened because it was like, this was the first patch in a long time where you could play with anybody in ranked. It didn't matter. So I was like, oh, whatever. Like, all right, you're pretty good. Like, we're going to go against, SA, POA people here. And so I really messed up my MMR there for a while. And we won some, we lost some, but I never got that acceleration because I played with lower skill people and then brought myself, I guess, down a little bit. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this will be the same way Super Evil does the winter resets or when the spring happens. I think they're trying to figure out the best way and what makes the most sense. But they want to see they want to see more accounts that are, I guess, spread out more. They don't want everyone to hit like POA and then, drop those accounts and go Smurf. They want to have that
Yeah.
progression where it does take you time to get up there so you don't feel like, all right, give up on the game for a little bit. Like, I made it, let's quit, let's move on. But they don't want anyone else to feel like this is awful. This takes forever. Like, I just want to be back where I am. I want those bragging rights, I guess. So
Yeah.
Big Magic 36, I don't know, but thank you for the email, and I understand the frustration there. And I think if you can only play a couple games a week, just play casuals, hopefully with some friends in your guild, and just have fun with it. Like, it is just a game at the end of the day. If you have no desire to be pro or can't put in the time, like, don't stress about it.
Yeah. I agree.
So, if anyone wants to send an email, feel free to email me at shatterthevain@gmail.com. Love seeing those emails, and hopefully we'll read more of them here on the episodes and whatnot. So that's going to do it for episode 82. I want to get back to these VGL matches and watch some of these. So we
Me
should
too.
we should.
NA's starting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's starting here shortly. So we should get out of here. But before we get out of here, you mentioned something about a tournament or what's going on with the main vein.
We are hosting right now. It's just an internal tournament. It'll be internal to TMV and TMV2, and we'll be doing that in mid-March. But we're going to have it streamed through. I don't remember the exact channel names, but it'll be through Big Jake and UC Teeth and One Hive Raids,
Okay.
and that'll be Big Jake, UC, and Jake One Hive's channels. Those will be streamed through there. Kind of just a glimpse inside to what we're doing for a tournament. And I believe the intent is that further down the road, we're going to host a public tournament.
Oh, cool.
So be looking for that in mid-March. Look at those guys' channels. They stream fairly often, so check out their channels. And be looking for our tournaments. So like I said, right now it's just going to be, we're mixing up teams inside of our guilds, and we'll be doing those matches in the tournament. But I'm not sure exactly when we're looking at doing the public one, or if that's still in the works. I believe it's still in the works.
Okay.
But yeah, look for that in the future.
Very cool. And so where can people then find you and the podcast? Twitter, website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Twitter. I'm at Twitter at phoenyx1, which is FHOENYX, the number one.
Okay.
And you can find my website at themainveinpodcast.com. And I'm trying to make it like a kind of a one-stop shop for, all the things I talk about in the show, and then various guild things, and just things I'm doing in game, a little bit of info, a little bit of stuff about me in the podcast. And then I'm on iTunes.
Okay.
So come check it out on iTunes, listen. I should have my 5th episode up probably around the same time this one. I'm recording after this.
Okay.
So hopefully around the same time. And that's I got a pretty good guest on. I'll leave it as a teaser there, but
Ooh, okay.
I'm pretty excited about the guest. So
So all,
um,
all the Vainglory podcasts come out on Monday. That's the thing.
yeah, yeah. Well, mine was kind of random other days. I'm still trying to figure out what day is good for recording, but I'm starting to think that Sunday's a pretty good recording
Yeah,
day.
it's not too bad. You can set aside a good amount of time on Sunday sometimes.
It's true.
Well, that's great.
Oh, and then email.
Oh yeah.
Email me at themainveinpodcast.com. Nope.
No.
The main vein podcast at gmail.com.
Right. Okay.
Um, and then also the show's Twitter is at TMV podcast.
Okay. Cool.
I had to think about that one. Someone took TMV podcast and Gmail and one of the other things. So
Oh, okay.
whoever you are that took TMV podcast, curse you.
Give it back.
Yeah, give it back. I need that. So if you're listening, I want it back.
So
I want to pay for it, but I want it back.
I'll include a link in the show notes and then the post website and all this stuff for anyone who's looking to get in touch and check it
Cool.
out. Yeah. But yeah, so that does it for episode 82. Thank you everyone for watching. All these available on shatterthevain.com where links to iTunes, Stitcher, the SoundCloud, the YouTube video, it's all up there. So however you prefer to listen or watch, go for it. And then on Twitter at Shatter the Vain, always tweeting lots of stuff that's happening, from Super Evil, from Vainglory, what I'm doing in the game. So check that out as well. And yeah, on the Facebook page /Shatter the Vain, usually posting mobile gaming news stories and other Vainglory news related things there. But yeah, we'll probably be back. I think next week. I don't think I'm going to put out 2-3 episodes this week, so I think I need a rest here. So I'll probably be back with 83 next week. Take care, and phoenyx, thanks for joining me, and everyone, thanks for
Oh, thank
listening.
you.